can also come to embryo pose, which I will demo as well if your hips are really tight or you just need to chill out from this week. Totally understandable. If you're coming to normal child's pose, your knees will be out wide, your toe tips to touch, and you'll just crawl yourself forward. If you want, since we'll be in this for a little bit longer, you can place a prop underneath your chest or forehead just to support you. But if you want to come to embryo, you'll just keep your knees close together, you'll sit back on your heels, and then you'll crawl yourself forward just like child's pose and drape your chest over your thighs, and then you'll bring your forehead down to either the mat or to some kind of prop. If stretching your arms out ahead of you is too much, you can also bring them back with your palms facing up and just place your forehead down. It's really helpful to just really relax and melt into the mat. So find a shape that feels comfortable for you. Take some time to settle in as we begin practice. And it's gonna look different for you today than it may have looked last time you were in child's pose or embryo. So be gentle with yourself. Yin is an evolving practice. So is yoga. So come to a comfortable shape that feels good to you. And when you're there, get some wiggles out and then find a place of stillness that you can just melt into the mat. Roll your shoulders down your back. Release any tension that you might be holding onto in your face. So very often we tend to hold on to a lot of things, and our face, our jaw, our forehead, and our eyebrow area, we clench a lot more than we think we are. So just see if you can start to unwind and relax the muscles in your face and start to pay attention to your breath. You might have been running around earlier today, and you might still be, breathing very shallow breath, quick, rapid breathing. Start to slow that down. And if you want to start to pay attention to that, you can start to count your inhalations and then count your exhalations. And usually they won't be even, but see if you can lengthen them just a little bit longer. So we'll do a couple rounds of box breathing together just so that you can try that out if you haven't added that to your practice yet. So basically how that works is we'll count in for 4 and we'll on the inhale, and then we'll pause for 4 at the top. So you'll hold that breath, and then you'll exhale again for 4, and then you'll hold empty at the bottom before we inhale again. So do couple rounds of that just to get you relaxed and into your yin practice. So start to inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. You can continue that method of breathing throughout practice today if that's comfortable to you. It's just to help reset and realign with your breath. So if at any point you find that you're not using your breath throughout practice, just come back to that. Come back to it at any time. Continue to melt your forehead into either your mat or your prop. And just feel the sense of ease that having something against your forehead can bring. A lot of us that have anxiety, using that as a pressure point to combat that is actually very helpful. So I have found that if I have an anxious episode, that if I just press a little bit of pressure on my forehead and focus on my breathing, that actually helps ground and center me. So that might be a tactic for you if throughout your day, your week, you're feeling extra anxious, to just bring that centering back to yourself. Got about 30 seconds left in this shape. So take anything that you still need. Focusing again on your breath and how you feel. If there's any areas of tension within your body, just send some breath there and let it go. Slowly, on your next inhale, start to make your way out of this shape. And you'll come facing a side of your mat. So your choice on whatever side of your mat feels most comfortable. But you'll take your left shin parallel with that side of the mat. And then you'll take your other leg into kind of a cheerleader pose if you're familiar with that, but you'll fold your ankle so that they're both facing the same way. Grab onto your pillow, or if you have a couple blocks and then you also have some kind of blanket or support, we're gonna go into deer pose on this side. So you'll place your prop parallel with your left thigh towards the top of your mat. And when you're ready, you'll start to slowly shift your weight over to face your prop. This might be enough for you. You might have a very tight lower back right now. So just hold here. I'll let you know when we're halfway through, and then you might be able to fold down. But if this is good for you and you want to continue, you can start to slowly crawl your way down so that your chest can rest on whatever prop you have available. If possible, also place your forehead down as well. You can take your gaze either straight down, you can face towards one side or the other. If you take your gaze to the opposite of the way that your legs are, so my legs are, if I was laying on my back, they're to my left. But if I'm folding over this way, I'm going to take my gaze over to the right just so that I have a full spinal twist. But again, this is up to you and what you're comfortable with. So just take a moment to find a comfortable shape. Deer is really great for detoxifying and stretching out the lower back. So this may be a lot in the beginning, and the reason why we're holding it for so long is so that you can slowly start to release any tension that you're holding on to in your muscles to allow you to fully get into this pose. So about halfway through, I'll let you know when we're there, so that if you need to make any adjustments by moving props around or finding a different shape for yourself, feel free to do that. But can you allow yourself to just close your eyes, bring your awareness back to your breath, and find a shape, again, that is comfortable to you. So today that might look different than it did last time you took this posture, and that's okay. Just find what that is and send some breath there. We're about halfway through on this side. So if you have been able to open up a little bit in your lower back and you can make your way down more towards your mat, or maybe you want to change the position of your head to face the opposite direction just to bring some more mobility to your neck and upper spine, you can do that. If you're comfortable where you are, feel free to stay. Again, this is your practice. I'm just guiding you through. So if at any point a pose doesn't feel good to you or you need to make additional modifications, please feel free to do that. if you're holding on to tension in your upper body because the twist is a lot for you, can you slightly engage your core to allow the twist to happen and then relax by rolling your shoulders down your back and melting more into your prop? So often we try so hard to get into these postures that we don't realize the strain that we're putting on other parts of our body. So just be mindful of that. This is meant to help open you up and not cause more closing of your body. So pay attention to how you're positioned, and it may be slightly uncomfortable as you're opening, but it should never be painful. So be mindful of that too, and forcing it isn't going to help you. Just allow whatever shape that might look like today. Got about 30 more seconds left in this posture before we switch to the other side. So what can you continue to rinse out and let go of? Releasing from this side that you don't need anymore. Slowly, on your next inhale, start to make your way up to your seat. And before we swap it out, just start to twist over to the opposite side, just for a brief counter twist. So you'll take your gaze over your right shoulder, just allowing for a counter posture for how long you were holding that. And I'm going to stay facing the camera. If you don't want to move your prop setup, you can just switch to the opposite side of your mat to be able to have your right shin parallel. But if it's an easy prop to move, like I am, moving mine to the other side, and then I'm just going to swap it out. So my right shin will be parallel with the side of my mat, and then I'm just going to swing my left leg around to where my heel can come towards my glute. And once I feel good in this shape, you might want to elongate your torso a little bit before you start to twist over, just to allow for some more ability to twist over towards your right thigh. Take an inhale and take your gaze up just to puff up your chest slightly, and then start to make your way down if that's accessible to you on this side. Again, it might look different on this side. You might have a tight lower back on this side. So just be mindful of that as you get into it. But make your way to a comfortable shape. Again, if you can rest your chest and your forehead or the side of your face on your pillow. And then if it feels good to you, you can start to take your gaze towards your right palm for a full spinal twist. If that's a little too much at this point, you could just face your left palm, and then eventually, when we're about halfway through, you might want to shift that out. But wherever you're at, just softly close your eyes if you haven't done so already. And just again, bring some awareness back to your body, back to this twist. Twisting is so good for rinsing out things that no longer need. It also helps aid digestion, and it serves as almost an internal wringing out of our inner organs. So massages organs that typically on the inside you're not doing anything with too often. So it just allows for some more opening, some more flexion in the spine. And then it also really helps open up the low back. So if you have a really tight low back, I have severely tight hamstrings. And so my low back typically is the first thing to give me any kind of trouble if I haven't been practicing my yoga and paying attention to how tight my hamstrings have been. So this is just gonna help open you up, loosen up your low back. We're already over halfway through on this side. If you want to play around with switching the position of your head, perhaps you take your gaze towards the right palm, if it's not already there. Just again, finding a comfortable shape that you can roll your shoulders down your back and just relax into. So you don't want to hold on to any tension or create more tension in your upper body. This side might be a little bit more difficult, but can you just focus on the fact that you can get through difficult shapes and we won't be holding this forever. And you'll be able to create more space in your body to handle other difficult things. So just bring some awareness to that as you get deeper into your practice. Are you focusing on your breath, or have you been shallow breathing throughout this side? So often we hold our breath and don't even realize that we're doing it. So if it's helpful to you to start doing some of that box breathing that we opened up class with, just start to count even how long your inhales and exhales are, and if you can lengthen them by a count or two, try that. About 30 more seconds here. So taking any final things that you need from this side. Not forcing, just allowing. On your next inhale, start to slowly make your way out of this posture by crawling your hands back towards your thigh. And then again, just start to slowly rotate your torso over toward your left side, just to take that counter twist. Take your gaze slightly over your left shoulder for some gentle opening here. And when you're ready, extend your legs out long in front of you. You'll move out any excess flesh from underneath your seat. Grab onto a few props if you have them. You can take a couple different blocks, perhaps a pillow. For a seated forward fold, we will hold this as much as our other poses, so you'll want something that you can rest your forehead down on if holding this posture might be a lot for your low back. So what I tend to do is I put one block in between my legs. You can do this with pillows as well. And then take another block and play around with the positioning just to see where my forehead can come to. And when we're about halfway through, you might be able to change how high your props are. So find a good height to begin with. I'm gonna start with it on its side here, and then I'll have to move it halfway through. Inhale, take your gaze up, your arms up. Exhale, start to slowly hinge forward towards your toes. And once you feel your spine start to round, you can let your head and neck hang heavy and find your prop with your forehead. Again, you might need to play around with that at first just to find the right positioning for yourself. And if you've got a pillow, you can do the same exact thing that I'm doing with the blocks. You can also do this with books or anything else you have, just to bring the floor closer to you. If you have a lot of flexibility, you might only need one block. I'm definitely not there, so I need a couple to start with. But once you've found your shape, just let yourself relax into this pose. Your low back might feel a little achy right now as you get into it. But the longer that we hold this, the more that your low back will start to open and allow you to get further into this pose. So just breathe and send breath to any areas of tension, anything that might be a little uncomfortable right now for you. And again, just make sure that you can allow your head and neck to hang really heavy by resting on something. And close your eyes if you haven't done so already. Forward folds are so great to help reset the parasympathetic nervous system. So if you're more on the anxious side of things, forward folds are a really great friend for you. I know it would be really awkward to come to a forward fold in the middle of your day, most likely, but if you're having an anxious moment and you just need some relief, forward folds are really great for that. We're halfway through the shape, so if you feel like your back has opened up enough already to allow you to shift your props to a lower position, you can make those adjustments, but don't pressure yourself to get there if it's not quite happening for you yet. Wherever you're at is where you are meant to be. So just allow and accept that it may be a little bit different than it was last time you did this, and that's okay too. And bring some awareness to your breath. You're holding on to it or just aren't thinking about it at all. Send some breath to any areas that are still tight. So if you've got some tight hamstrings like I do, you can send some breath there just to allow your attention and awareness to go to areas of tension. See if you can start releasing that. We have about 30 more seconds in this shape. So just take some final moments to enjoy this rest in this forward fold. Feel the calm that has brought you for the last several minutes that we've been holding it. Slowly, when you're ready, start to make your way out. You've been holding this for a while, so it may feel like a lot to get out of this. Just be mindful of that. Move your props out of the way. Bring your feet planted firmly on the ground, your hands slightly behind, and just windshield wiper your legs from side to side just to release some tension in your low back. We've held that for quite a bit. This will help undo some of that. And when you're ready, start to lower yourself all the way down to your mat. Your spine should touch all the way down. Exhale for supine butterfly or Supta Baddha Konasana if you're familiar with vinyasa. The soles of your feet will touch. Your knees should come out wide. If you have some props accessible to you and you feel like you'd like to allow your knees to rest on something, you can always place a block or a pillow underneath your knees just to allow them to open without having to strain your low back, just for some gentle opening. But whatever shape you're in, just start to roll your shoulders on your back. softly close your eyes if you haven't already, and place both of your palms on your belly so that you can start to pay attention to your breath in this posture. This will really help you see if on your inhales your belly expands big to allow air to come in, and then on your exhales it caves in to allow all of your air to release from your body, so that on your next inhale you can let fresh breath back in. So just start to bring some awareness to that as you center here. And this posture is really great to help open up that low back, and it does it in a way that you don't have to have hamstring mobility. So if you've got really tight hamstrings like I do, this posture doesn't require that you have super open hamstrings to allow your low back to open. So it's just a really great posture for low back relief. Again, where can you continue to let go and settle in? Taking any wiggles that you need, but then trying to stay as still as possible. In practice or restorative, it's really hard if you tend to race around a lot and feel like rest is just, why do I need to rest? I need to go, go, go. It can be really difficult to stay still. So just start to pay attention to where your mind is going. Are you present on your mat, or are you thinking of all the stuff that you need to do, want to do? So start to think of that. Bring your awareness to that. We're halfway through this shape. So if you need to make any modifications or adjustments, feel free to do that now. But if you're cozy and you feel yourself opening, just continue to hang there. No need to move if it's not needed. Rest is good. When your mind starts to wander to other stuff, maybe it's things that you have to do after class or later this weekend, or just other stuff that has happened earlier this week, just start to bring your attention back to what you're doing right now. Are you focusing on your breath? Are you listening to the music, the sound of my voice? Just start to focus on the things that are actually in front of you, right around you, stuff that you can feel. The mat underneath your back, the humidity in the air. Just to start to bring your attention there can help you be more mindful and grounded in the shape that you're in right now. We have a little less than a minute left in this shape. Just take anything that you still need and let go of stuff that you don't. Slowly, when you're ready, start to close your knees back together. And take a moment to sway your knees from one side over perhaps to your right. Hold there for a moment, then move them over to the left, just to start to bring some awakening back to your low back. You can take this a few times again, taking as long as you need in either direction. And when you're ready, just slowly start to make your way back up to a seat and come to a tabletop position. We're gonna make our way to sleeping swan or half pigeon, if you're familiar with that. We'll take it on the right side first. You may want to take this from a down dog if it's more difficult for you to get into it from a tabletop. But what you'll do is you'll bring your right knee towards your right wrist and your right ankle towards your left wrist. And you'll extend your left leg out back behind you. Take a peek over your left shoulder just to align your hips to the ground. If you need, you can always place a prop underneath your right hip just to bring the ground a little bit closer to allow for more gentle hip opening if pigeon or sleeping swan is just a little bit too much for you. But if you're ready, you can take your gaze up and then slowly start to crawl down to put your pigeon to sleep. You can grab a prop here if that's helpful to you to place underneath your chest or your forehead. Since we'll be holding this a little bit longer, you may want some assistance to bring the ground a little closer to you. But whatever shape you find yourself in, just bring some stillness there. Start to close your eyes. Pigeon's a very uncomfortable pose because we hold on to a lot of tension in our hips. And we don't allow for a lot of opening in our hips very often. And so the moment that we try to open that up, you can feel that resistance just rise right away. So where can you let go of something, allow for this opening? Pretend that your hips are full of just the junk that you have stored there from the week, different, stressful situations or just points of tension that have been bothering you or been on your mind. And just imagine that you're going to clean out that junk drawer of sorts. So what things are you storing that you no longer need or shouldn't have been carrying around this entire time? What are things outside of your control, which often is the actions of others? So someone that you're close to may have said something or done something that just didn't feel good to you. Can you let that go in the sense that you have, unfortunately, no control over that, of what they may have said or did, but your response to that thing is with you. So can you come from a place of love to just let yourself not carry that around and release what you no longer need? We're halfway through on this side, so if you need to make any adjustments, you can. But if you're good here, just continue to send some breath to your areas of tension and tightness. Bring your awareness back to your breath. More seconds here, leaving behind anything that you don't need anymore from this side. And when you're ready, slowly start to make your way out. And this is going to look different for you today than it may have last week. So just find a way to come out of the shape that feels good to you. And you may want to extend your right leg back by tucking your toes and just stretching out that leg. Leg circles might feel really good too here, just to bring some blood flow back again. Just taking what you need on this side before we move on to the other side. When you're ready, back to tabletop or down dog, however you want to get into pigeon on this side. Then you'll bring your left knee towards your left wrist, your left ankle towards your right wrist, and then take a peek over your right shoulder. You may again want a prop underneath your left hip just to help ground your hip a little bit more. Inhale, take your gaze up, and then slowly fold over here, allowing your forehead to come to something. So if you do need a prop to assist you on this side and maybe you didn't need one on the other, that's okay. We're not symmetrical. And we tend to hold tension more in one side than the other. So if that's you, just breathe in and slowly you'll start to release and open the connective tissue on this side, and it will be a little bit easier to melt into your mat. So pay attention to your breath. You might be shallow breathing in the beginning, especially as it's a little bit more tense and hard to get into. But can you close your eyes and settle in? Yeah, bringing your awareness to your mat, to your breath. Allowing for some opening on this side. We all have a posture or two, or maybe a couple that we don't particularly love in yoga because they're hard for us. Pigeon for me is one of those poses. It's very tough to release and let go of stuff that I've just suppressed throughout the week. I tend to just say, nope, it's fine, everything's fine, but in reality, it's really not fine. So pigeon just helps me release that stuff, but that means I have to face it. So that's, the uncomfortable part for me. Not only are my hips really tense, so that's uncomfortable, but just having the realization that, I have been storing some stuff and unnecessarily carrying that around and suppressing things. And if emotions are coming up for you in this pose, that's okay. It's allowing you to release and let them go. So just use this as an opportunity to clean out and pay more attention throughout the week of stuff that you might be carrying around that you don't need to be. And where can you just open up a little bit more to allow the good stuff to come in. We're halfway through on this side. So if you do need to make any tweaks or adjustments, you can do that. Or if you've taken your attention away from your breathing, perhaps you bring it back there. Taking what you need for your practice. You've only got about 30 more seconds left on the side, and that may Bring a huge smile to your face, just knowing that we're almost done. Can you just take any final things that you might still need in this shape before we move on with our practice today? Slowly on your next inhale, start to make your way out. Again, this side might feel a lot different than the other side to get out of, so take your time and take what you need. Have to extend your left leg back to allow for some opening on the back side of your leg, or bring some hip circles in on this side. Just be gentle with yourself. And again, take what you need here. When you're ready, you'll start to make your way down to your belly. Bring your chin to your mat and tee out your arms. Slowly start to bring your left hand, your left palm in towards your chest. And then start to use your hand as a lever to roll on to your right shoulder. So broken wing is very challenging in itself. So this might be enough for you. You can just rest your head down, either on a pillow or the mat. If you want for some more opening, if you need some shoulder opener to counteract all like sitting at your computer or texting on your phone, you can swing your left leg behind you to more of a kickstand, and this allows more opening on your shoulder. So halfway through, you might want to try that if this is enough for you, and kickstanding your leg might be way too much at this point. Broken wing is very hard for a lot of people just because of shoulder mobility. So be gentle with yourself. If that is all way too much, you can also come to thread the needle. So if you just come to tabletop and then raise your right palm up to the sky and thread it through to allow for some opening on the shoulder without the intense opening of broken wing, that's fine too. But find the shape that feels good to you. And just softly close your eyes. Breathe into any discomfort that you might be feeling on this side. Every time they call for broken wing in restorative class that I'm in, I always groan because I know it's going to be very painful to be in it and then also come out of it. But afterwards, I find that there's so much opening that happened in my shoulder, my chest area. I just feel so much lighter. So I do hope that if you're moaning and groaning right now, that once we get out of this shape, you also feel the benefits of compressing the shoulder joint just a little bit, allowing for some opening. And again, this should be a little uncomfortable, but you should never have any pain. So if that is the case, back off of wherever you're at and just listen to your body. That's the most important thing. We're halfway through on this side already. So again, if you need to make any modifications or adjustments, you can do that. If you're just sending breath, continue to do that. If you want to try to kickstand your left leg over for even more opening, if you've started to get comfortable with the discomfort and want to further open your shoulder, you can make that adjustment now. And if you're thinking to yourself, I'm crazy and there's no way in heck you're gonna try it, that's okay too. Use your class. Just use your breath. How about 30 more seconds? continue to breathe. Be mindful of how your shoulder is feeling right now. Pay attention to that on this side. It might feel a lot different on your other side when we get there. So just, again, bring some awareness to that. And slowly, when you're ready, start to make your way back onto your belly. And you may want to extend your arm towards the top of your mat and then towards the back, or taking some circles with your shoulder just to undo some of that compression. Bring some feeling back into your shoulder. And when you're ready, we're just gonna swap it out. So tee your arms back out, take your chin to your mat. Bring your right palm in towards your chest, and then slowly start to roll on to your left shoulder. And again, just this movement might be enough for you, but if you're ready, you can bring your right leg around to kickstand on this side. Find something that is comfortable for you, and you might need a pillow or prop underneath your head on the side and did not on the other, but be mindful of that. Just make any adjustments as we get in, and I'll let you know when we're halfway through so that you can make further adjustments if you need. I am so guilty of hunching over when I'm scrolling on my phone or I'm on my computer for work. I've been putting my laptop in my lap and really have hunched over just to type on my keyboard, and if I'm in Zoom meetings, just to be able to see everyone in the chat. And at the end of the week, I find that I'm so slumped over that my posture is just horrible, and my core hasn't been engaged, and my low back is really tweaky. And so these type of poses that help open up the front side of our body also help with some of those other things. So if you find that this is also the case for you, or that you can work a bit on your shoulder mobility, perhaps you want to start to try some binding poses such as birds in our vinyasa class, but you haven't been able to quite get there. These postures in our restorative class really help you get to those other shoulder mobility poses in our other practice. So if you hate this posture, just start to think of all the benefits of how it's going to help you not only in your day-to-day, but in your yoga practice in general. And you might find that you take this randomly throughout the week just to help you open that back up. And you might think I'm crazy for even suggesting something like that, but the more that you start to bring even small things into your day-to-day, in between meetings or in between transitioning from work to the rest of your evening. I know a lot of us don't really have that transition anymore, but maybe you just take 10 minutes for yourself just to take a couple yin postures to help that transition and to ease into your evening. It might help you let something that happened during your workday go. It might just bring that space that you need, that transition into your day. We're already halfway through on this side. So if you want to roll further onto your shoulder, you can do that. If you're comfortable with where you're at, there's no way in heck you want to move any further, that's fine too. But just try to keep an open mind with some of this stuff. I know it seems silly to hold certain things for so long, but we're creating so much good space in our body that we haven't been able to, and you are lengthening out and bringing some more mobility to different parts of your body that may be neglected otherwise. So just think of all those benefits alone that you're bringing to your practice. I have about 30 more seconds here. Keep in mind that we're almost done. So anything that you still need to release on the shoulder, just take that now. Allow for some additional opening before we move on. And slowly, when you're ready, start to roll back towards your belly. And then again, you may want to extend your arm towards the top of your mat and towards the back, or just bringing some shoulder circles to allow your shoulder to continue to open. Bringing blood flow back to that shoulder joint that we've been compressing. And when you're ready, you can just roll over onto your back. Grab onto a prop that is nearby. So if that is a block or a pillow, grab onto something that you can place underneath your sacrum or your low back for supported bridge. So when you're ready, you'll have both of your feet planted firmly on the mat. You'll grab whatever prop is close by, even if it's a book or throw pillow, anything will work here. Start to push into the mat with your feet, lift your hips up to the sky, and then place the block to where your low back is, and you may need to adjust it a few times to find what's comfortable. You should be able to lift your feet up into the air without holding on to the mat. That's how you know you're kind of in the right spot there, if you're not wobbling all over the place. There's many different heights of your prop, so you can turn it on its side if you want more of a tilt to allow your heart more of a break, but that's completely up to you and how you're feeling. If you want more of a restful state, you can put it on its lowest height just to not have to do any work here. But once you've found a good shape, roll your shoulders down your back, softly close your eyes. And again, you can bring your hands to your belly here if you would like to pay attention to your breath. If you've lost track of that throughout practice today, it might be really great to come back to that. And supported bridge pose just really helps give us just a little bit of a break. Your heart doesn't have to work as hard. And almost feel the stress and tension just rolling off of your shoulders here. And just be really proud of the fact that you've allowed yourself this rest, this practice that is so essential to combating all the stress that we have in our daily lives, not only just in work or everyday life things that we may be dealing with, but just what's happening right now in the world and how that is impacting us, if we know it or not, on a day-to-day basis. So just allow yourself this time in your week to take your restorative and healing practice. Is just so essential, especially right now. If you don't really feel the rise and fall of your belly with your hands placed there, can you puff up your belly as much as you can on your inhale, and then let it sink all the way in on your exhales. A lot of you know that I have a 16-month-old son, and so Sesame Street has been on nonstop these days, just as our babysitter around here. I feel a lot of mom guilt about that, but They do a lot of belly breathing on Sesame Street, which is so cool because they're teaching kids to use their breath through anything. So if they're upset or stressed out, or they have, they don't get their way with something, they tell them to belly breathe. And I think we forget that as adults, that is so essential for us too. So just channel that, think of those things when you're stressed out or running around. Can you just belly breathe? It sounds so silly and it's so simple, but it has such a profound impact on what we can do day to day to really help get through everything. Got about 30 more seconds here before we make our way to our final resting shape. Some of you might want to hang here. This is a great restorative posture. So if you're comfortable here and you want to take your Shavasana in this supported shape, you can certainly do that. But if you're ready to come to a different shape for your Shavasana, you can slowly lift your hips up and remove your prop from underneath. Lower your hips back down. You may want to take a transition of a happy baby or just swing from side to side just to loosen up your back. And then when you're ready, you'll just extend out to a comfortable shape. If you have a wall nearby, you can always do leg up the wall. It's really good, again, to just allow our body to rest in more of a restorative Shavasana shape. Otherwise, you can extend out. You can face your palms up for some good energy if you feel like you have a lot to get done today and you just need some more energy into your day. Bring your palms up. But if you really just need the vibe of this class to carry you through the rest of your day, place your palms down, facing the earth, just for some more grounding. Or again, you can place them on your belly just to pay attention to your breath. Release any tension that's in your face, roll your shoulders down your back, and gently close your eyes when you're ready. And just enjoy this time for rest. It's one of the hardest postures in our practice, and one of the ones that a lot of people want to skip through, but it's so important. So just take some time and enjoy your rest. Shavasana is here as long as you need. You're in your space. You have however much time you want to dedicate to your practice. So if you do have some more time, feel free to stay where you're at. And if you slowly want to awaken and move on with the rest of your Saturday, start to bring some awareness back to your body. Perhaps you Wiggle your fingers and your toes. You can roll out your wrists and your ankles. Then you can roll to either side for a brief stop in fetal pose. And when you're ready, you can make your way up to a comfortable seated position. It might look different. You can place a prop underneath your seat if you need more of a pelvic tilt here. Bring your hands to your heart center and softly close your eyes. Take a deep breath in. And a full open mouth, sigh out, let something go. Breathe in something good, something beautiful that you still need. And sigh out something that you don't. Thank you guys so much for your dedication to your practice and for joining me on your mats today. I appreciate each and every one of you so much. Namaste.